Hi, this is Asim.
This is Sujoy.
This is Amrita.
And you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast about the three main Khans of the Hindi film industry.
Aamir,
Salman,
And Shahrukh.
Hi, you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast regular feed. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We now have a Patreon channel with bonus content and exclusive merch for those of you who would like to support us. Every dollar goes towards creating more and better content. Visit us at patreon.com/Khandaan podcast.
Hi and welcome to a new episode of Khandaan Podcast. My name is Asim Bernie and we're back to the lovelies. I have my lovely co-host Amrita and Sujoy.
I think Amrita missed that joke because last time he totally went down on me saying the lovely is only for the love is only for Amrita. I bring only the Lee.
No, it's so nice to talk to you guys again. It's really weird because I've been listening to a lot of our readers talk about how it's they're talking to their friends, etc. when they are listening to our podcast, and I'm just yeah, and that's why I miss talking to Sujoy and Asim when I don't talk to them. I'm just something is missing. I didn't hang out with my friends.
Yeah, they literally are friends. These are the friendships we have. But I want to thank Nim for joining us on the last Monologue one. She did amazingly. We got so many messages, people saying how much they appreciated her and her thoughts. And big thank you because Amrita couldn't make it last time. She did great. Thank you, Nim.
Thank you, Nim. And I continue to be incredibly jealous that I can't watch Mollajat on the big screen.
Have you been watching a bit of the discourse online and stuff like that?
Not really. I've just been completely out of it for the past week. But tell me about the discourse. What's the discourse?
So, I mean, it's first of all great to see. I mean, Mollajat is the biggest Pakistani movie ever within a week and a bit of its release. Mahira Khan has been bombarded with negativity on her timeline, and she's had to take a mental health break.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think people I think the equivalent of no, it's not. I was gonna say Mahira's equivalent is Anushka Sharma in India, but I don't think so. I think Anushka Sharma, you could even say she has done or said things that might be taken in the wrong way. I don't agree, but I think a lot of people are. But Mahira is just positivity, and people just don't, I think a lot of it is about a Punjabi accent. I don't even know what happened, but apparently she got bullied a lot for saying that she couldn't speak Punjabi in an interview. So people took umbrage with that.
Is she Punjabi? Oh, she's Punjabi. Okay.
No, she's not Punjabi. So she did the role in Punjabi, and I think one of the criticism was that her Punjabi wasn't authentic in Mollajat. And a lot of people had issues with her struggling with it.
But she has an accent even when she's talking in Urdu. I've seen her dramas on Pakistani TV. And she speaks in a very, there's a particular Mahira accent that she speaks in.
Yeah, it's the burger accent.
I didn't want to say that, but now that you brought it up, yes.
Yeah. So it was funny because I was, for the first few days, I was wow, it's so cool that a good movie that deserves the box office and in all positivity is making money and stuff like that, And I was just happy to see a movie that deserves it. And then this Mahira thing happened. I was oh, maybe we don't deserve good things, So poor Mahira, man. She's so good. I really like her. She's always positive and always up for a good cause, and there's no toxicity in her, it seems, and it's just a shame that people react this way. But I did get to rewatch the movie again. I went this week. Sujo, you went again too, right?
Yes, I did.
How was your second viewing?
Yeah, as I said, when Amrita wasn't here, we were discussing. I think when we went to watch, it was literally the first weekend, and the word hadn't been out about how amazing this movie is. But I think I went for the second time during the week. It was like a Wednesday during the day for a matinee show, and people had brought their nana nanis and the older parents and relatives, and people were out in groups. Like the whole theater was like buzzing with excitement, and everybody cheered when the dialogue bazi was happening. Yeah, it was like a group movie watching experience, which this movie deserves to. That's the kind of audience it really deserves, and I'm really happy that it's doing so well in the UK.
Yeah, even in the Middle East is doing great. Pakistan, obviously. Somebody sent me an email that, Sujoy, you were correct. There was an issue with theaters in Pakistan, which you raised in the episode last time.
Right.
Which I wasn't aware of. So you had more the pulse of Pakistani cinema than I do. But
no, IMDb had it. IMDb had it, to be fair.
Yeah, but they are expanding because, again, it's just such a massive thing that's happened.
Yeah.
So that's good. Did you hear the episode, Amrita? You didn't have a chance, I imagine, right? The week.
Not yet, but I have it downloaded. So I'm gonna, if I don't listen to it like today, then I will when I'm traveling on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's okay. If you've downloaded it, it's showing in our analytics, and we're fine. If people don't listen, it's not a problem.
You are just a number for us, Amrita.
Yeah, it's just the algorithm for us, Amrita. What are we doing? We're doing a free kind of episode this time. We're not doing any main reviews. We're going to be talking about some trailers, reading some emails, and talking about some of the stuff we've watched. Let's get into the trailers first. 2 trailers came out, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The first one was Bhediya.
तुम्हें क्या लगता है ये भेड़िए ने मुझे ही क्यों काटा है?
हो सकता है कि वो भेड़िया एक्चुअली तुम्हें मारना चाहता हो।
नहीं क्यों?
क्योंकि तुम जिसे सियापा समझते हो ना, वो एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है।
मुझसे तो देखा नहीं जा रहा है।
मुझसे भी नहीं।
सेब समझ के चुत्तर चबा गया मेरे भाई का।
Yes.
Amrita, what did you think of the Bhediya trailer?
Straight in. I don't know. Like, I think like if you enjoy Varun Dhawan, then this is probably like fun.
Do you not enjoy Varun Dhawan?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm just like, I need a break.
Like your annoying little cousin.
Yes. That is
That's
what
a
he
very
is.
perfect description of Varun Dhawan.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know. Like, if you just think he's like the best thing ever, then maybe it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel, okay, why does Kriti have, okay, there's like a lot of things I don't really understand about that entire thing, but I think I might not be the right audience for this.
Asim is the right audience.
I totally am. Yeah, I totally am.
Yes. Asim is already like, it's a cult favorite. I can see.
100 baar dekhunga.
Like, there is a line in the trailer where Varun says, गली के कुत्ते मुझे फूफा जी कह के चिढ़ाते हैं. And I was like, they shouldn't have released that and the trailer, because if Asim were to discover that gem of a line at the cinema, he would be like, Oscar de do, Khan de do, sab
How
kuch
do
de do
you
isko.
know exactly the line? That's my favorite situation.
See, we've been friends for a decade now. So.
You know, that is the line. That is like Pupaji delivery is amazing. I love it. It's the best line.
Well, coming back to Kriti Sanan, why does she have that Dora the Explorer hair?
Yes. Like, why? Why does she have that?
In the forest now, like it's fashionable in forest villages now. Like, I think fashion comes late there, But Sujoy, what did you think of Amar Kaushik's previous movies like Stree and Bala, and like he seems to be a like very Maddock kind of guy, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, but I don't know. This seems like sort of a segue from that. like a complete departure from that sort of films, or maybe that's just because Varun Dhawan is associated with it. He definitely brings more frontman charm, if you know what I mean. Like Rajkumar Rao, and no disrespect to Rajkumar Rao or Ayushman, but Varun Dhawan has that Bollywood charm, Bollywood frontman charm, and and that's the thing that sort of differentiates this from the previous movies that this director has done. And but also this sort of reminded me of the 1990s classic Mahesh Bhatt movie Junoon.
Yes. That was actually my entire thing. I was just like, but, and I was like, no, it's not.
But
like
yeah,
that.
it will be much more fun than Junoon rather than a horror movie. This is going to be playing on like horror comedy, and Barun is delivering all those comedy lines, and it's always fun to see that.
Yeah. It seems to be like like a new genre been created after Stree, right? Like we've had we had Go Are Gone back in the day. Like it's been a while, but this seems to be a thing. Like even the Bhoot Police that came out a couple of years ago, then now this, and even
they used to they had one of the Golmals was also a horror comedy, right?
Oh, right. Even Phone Booth is kind of in that same vibe, no? So yeah. I like what Sujoy is saying. I don't want to be disrespectful. Like Khandaan, we're always disrespectful. We're always respectful of everybody. I like the vibe of it. I think just adding Varun to it and Kriti to it might. It's not. This is not my favorite genre, that comedy horror thing. But because Varun is in there and Kriti is in there, I might go to the cinema to watch this. I think the special effects look actually quite decent, which is surprising because. They seem to have spent money on a genre that isn't like a huge money earner normally. Like, like even if you compare with Stree or a lot of the comedy kind of horror things, you don't want to focus that much on the effects. Mostly it's makeup. Here it's like CGI driven VFX. When his back is like turning into a werewolf, or even that wolf that comes up, it looks quite genuine, like high quality. So that's cool. It also has one of my favorite tropes in cinema, where you have a really buff actor being really surprised that he suddenly has muscles. I love that, because like in Spider-Man, like when Tobey Maguire does it, it's like Tobey Maguire is a skinny guy, so he has muscles. That's a surprise. But Varun Dhawan, it's even difficult to see him ever with a shirt on. So it's like, oh my god, ye muscles kahan se aa gaye?
I think the special effects were spent on the first half, where he's made to look like lanky and skinny.
Is he? Oh, I missed that part in the movie.
I mean, it's not in the trailer. I'm just speculating.
Okay. They're bringing the Lal Singh Chadda
or the Captain America special effects team, whatever.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. This could be fun.
And the way it wraps up with the jungle baat chali hai, pata chala hai, chaddi pehen ke phool khila hai. That was funny.
So that was that was
Bhaskar ki chaddi hai.
See, yeah. Okay. Zencaster is being shady. No, I was just saying that's the thing with the Knowing Cousins. They make so much noise and so many awkward jokes. A few of them land. Might be what's happening with the Bhediya trailer too.
Yeah, they're just throwing everything on the kitchen sink, so hoping that something will happen. So let's hope it's at least like they don't half-ass through it.
Yeah. Amrita, what do you think of the of Kriti and Varun as a lead couple, though? Because who of us saw Dilwale and said, these guys should come together?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's not blowing me away or anything, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all fine. Fine.
That's actually my problem with this thing, actually. It's not that I hate it. It's just that it just seems fine,
Yeah. Second trailer that came out, Uunchai.
The key to an easy trek is a steady trek. चलते रहेंगे तो थकान महसूस नहीं होगी. Come on, guys!
All right, everybody smile. तुम तीनों के साथ मुझे अपना बचपन फिर से जीना है। किसी भी तरह एक बार एवरेस्ट तक जाना है।
साल में एक दिन तेरा बर्थडे आता है, उसमें भी तेरा ये जो एवरेस्ट है ना, ये सारे गिफ्ट ले जाता।
मखमल गालों वाली।
Yeah. Sujo, you sent this to us, right?
I mean, Uunchai just reminded me of this could be like the OAP version of Rock On. That Danny Densongpa is the sacrificial lamb.
So
he's Luke Kenny.
So this is the story of three friends who take a trek to the Everest base camp. A simple trek turns out to be a personal, emotional, spiritual journey as they battle their physical limitations and discover the true meaning of freedom. This is directed by Suraj Bharjatia?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, Salman wanted to be a part of this film, and Suraj Bharjatia was like, "Nahi, I want to try something different."
What was Salman going to play? The mountains role?
Amitabh, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. How? Okay, so apparently it's like four friends, right? It's Amitabh, Anupam Kher, Boman Irani, and Danny Densongpa. And I was already getting annoyed that they kill off, and this is in the trailer, right? They kill Danny Densongpa. First of all, how the hell can you kill Danny Densongpa? He is immortal. You cannot kill him. And Anupam Kher is right there. Why don't you kill Anupam Kher and make everybody happy? Like, I don't know why. That thing already annoyed me, first part of it. Yeah. This seems to be like Bagban in the mountains, no?
Yeah, I don't really understand what the thing is.
So it kind of reminded me of that kind of vibe, but this is made by Suraj Bharjatia, so it will have more hugs and more I don't know, family values thrown in there somewhere, yeah. I suppose. And then there's Pariniti Chopra as well, if anybody had forgotten about her. She's in a Rajashri movie, which should be a big deal, but it's not. I don't know.
Where does the Rajashri brand still stand, to be honest? Like you know, we have Dharma, we have Yash Raj, but where, like, yeah. Rajashri was the third one, right? I don't feel that they're there anymore, right?
Well, Rajashri is always weird. Like, they don't do movies the way Dharma or Yash Raj do. They make like smaller, tinier movies or like TV content and stuff like that, like very sanskari movies, etc. And then like once in a while, Suraj Bharjatia will come out like all guns blazing, usually with Salman Khan. And that's it. And then they'll just go back again. And nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah, go back again. Yeah, I mean, the last big release they had was Prem Ratan Dhan Payo, and that was back in 2015. So that's 7 years ago.
Payo.
But it's you
gotta say it. You gotta say it every time you hear it.
It's like a far-flung echo of Sonam Kapoor's film career still reaching us, you know, like from space.
She's saying Payo.
Yeah.
It's like also that, Neil Nitin Mukesh's. Sorry.
I was saying, like, you know, like that Voyager satellite thing that's been sent. It's like aliens will hear that message and Payo from Sonam coming in.
It's also Neil Nitin Mukesh's biggest movie ever.
Oh, wow.
And then nobody even remembers that guy was in there.
He was in there, yeah.
Oh, whatever happened to him? Like, that's actually a good thing. Like, apart from Pitu, I don't know anyone who's like following the career.
I mean, I think he was in Saho as well, right? If I can remember.
But correctly. I don't know. There's a few actors that have really like self-combusted their career, and Neil Nitin Mukesh is one of them. Vivek Oberoi is one of them. You know, like, I don't know what happened suddenly. He was like really going well, and then he started making these weird statements like, "I'm going to be the villain in Game of Thrones," and you know, like all of these things, and his career just tanked. But yeah, like those first few movies, like he was like a hot property, right?
He said he was going to be the villain in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Like he was going to have a role in Game of Thrones. It was like a big thing. Like people were talking about it, or he was talking about it, and like even like I think HBO came with a statement that none of this has ever happened. Yeah, it's quite embarrassing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you think he got catfished or was he just like spinning tails?
I don't know. I have no clue. But it's just like just surprising that he had momentum behind him and then he just like squandered it away or something happened. I don't exactly know what happened even. But like Suraj Barjatya as a director is weird. Like he just suddenly like I also don't think why would he want to make this movie? Like I don't know what appeals to him in this scenario. Also, like it does immediately have those Suraj Barjatya family values where it's all men and Neena Gupta is in there too, but Neena Gupta won't get to climb the mountain. she just have to make road for the old people. But the problem for me is like I took a vow as a child that I'll watch every Amitabh movie, so I'll end up watching this movie too, and I'll probably I'll tell you guys about it. Like I think both of you will not be watching Uunchai, right?
No, I don't think anything about this appeals to me that I should be watching this at the cinema or at home.
Yeah,
I might watch it if I'm like bored enough.
Unless like everybody's raving, like this is the next big thing.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if people are doing it, then I am very easily swayed.
You'll go with the hype.
Yeah, for sure. I'm basic like that.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know what to make of this movie, and I don't know why Suraj Barjatya is making this movie. I don't know what appealed to him about it. Although we had the whole 80-year Amitabh thing happening in the last few weeks, and it was kind of cool to just people reappreciate Amitabh without too much other negativity about him. It was good to see people celebrating him again, which hadn't happened in the last few years. And my just thing is, we probably might not have Amitabh for a long time with us. Like I don't, like he's getting.
So, yeah, in India, I think PVR recently had like a long list of re-releases of Amitabh movies at the cinema. So they had like Diwar and Amar Akbar Anthony and I think Sholay as well, and then Mili Abhiman as well. And like a lot of people went to watch it. And I think in one of the screenings that I saw on Instagram, I think one of our friends, Justin, was also there at the screening, and Javed Akhtar and Shabana Azmi also were present for the screening of Diwar. And it was like, it's so nice to see that. I wish I could have watched Abhiman or Diwar in the cinema. It would be something.
Yeah. Yeah, even, Dawn and stuff like that. I've never seen those ones on the big screen. Kalia, I would love to see it. So, yeah. Yeah. Anything else on Uunchai, Amrita?
No.
No. Cool. Shall we do emails or shall we talk about a few of the things we watched?
Let's talk about a few other things and then we can make our way.
Okay. So, Amrita, you watched the phone booth trailer. Did you want to talk about that? Or did you like it?
So this is supposed to be Ghostbusters, right?
Kinda, yeah. That's what it seems. I mean, the vibes are there. But
if this is Ghostbusters, then Katrina is Sigourney Weaver.
I think she's Sigourney Weaver and Slimer together. She's both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
I mean, of course.
They wanted both of those. They wanted both. They wanted both the characters. Yeah, I didn't hate it, but also I have a feeling Ishan Khattar is going to annoy me very quickly.
Also has that young cousin vibe.
Yes. Very much the young cousin vibe.
So in our previous episode, when we discussed the phone booth trailer, we sort of all had the same consensus that I think the episode of Coffee with Karan sort of played a big role in being an unofficial PR machine for this movie. Did you watch that episode, Amrita? With Katrina and the
Katrina, yes.
Asim calls them.
Yes.
Did you enjoy their vibe together? Yeah. So I think that works in the favor of the movie, that these three will actually be fun.
They Excel released a promo video. It was like a spoof on celebrity interviews. I don't know if you saw it. It is probably for me like the funniest promo trailer that has come out. It's they're basically interviewing Ishan and Siddhant, and then Katrina comes in later, and then like they're playing like exaggerated versions of themselves, like a Ricky Gervais kind of extras kind of vibe to it. It is hilarious. It's only 7 minutes, and then Katrina comes in, and it's like clearly like, you know, Katrina has no respect and she's the star and these upload are on the side. It's hilarious. I thought that was funny. Amrita, you'd really like it. I think if you have time on the train or the plane, I'll send you the link. Watch that. And the thing for Phone Booth is like, okay, when Katrina is there, I'm already excited. She's already done 2 dance songs, which I'm even more excited about, just to see her dance on screen again. And one of them has 2 Katrinas, which is, you know, Sone Pe Suhaga, that kind of thing. So, and then the promos are really there. And then like the Coffee with Karan episode was good. The behind the scenes trailers, and she just did a chat with Anupama Chopra, I think, and I saw a few excerpts of those where she's talking about Vicky Kaushal and stuff like that. And again, Katrina being lovely. I think the promotions for this movie are really, really strong. So if ever a promotional tour has convinced me that this movie might be fun, it's this one. So that rarely happens for me.
ಒಂದೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ರಾಜ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ. ಅವನು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ವಿಶಾಲವಾದ ಭೂಮಿನ ತನ್ನ ಊರಿನವರಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಟ್ನಂತೆ.
ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಜಾಗವನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ ದೈವ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮಾತಿಗೆ ತಪ್ಪಿದಾಗ ಯಾವುದು.
Let's talk then about the movies we watched, right? I don't think we watched too much.
I think we watched mostly like non-Hindi, non-Indian stuff.
Yeah. But you watched something that I really want to watch too, right, Amrita?
Yeah. So I got a chance to watch Kantara with at the theater, basically. And for those who don't know, Kantara is like this Kannada movie that is taking India by storm right now. Like everybody is talking about Kantara. And they're basically talking about Kantara for like pretty much the wrong reasons. But then like, you know, that's India right now. But I went to watch this in the theaters, and the hype is like, I totally get the hype. Like I get why people are like, their minds are blown by this movie. It is. Do you guys like have any idea like what Kantara is about?
I have no clue.
Okay, so it's very simply put, like it's about this guy who is trying to save his ancestral village from the landlord who wants to steal it from under them. But there is a political commentary, but it is a very like mixed bag political commentary, because you know, like I know like there's a discourse right now on Indian Twitter about like how this is like, you know, a very Hindu movie, and then this is like portraying Hinduism, etc. And I disagree, actually. This is like Kannada culture is like what in South Karnataka. It's not even like all Kannada culture. It's like a very specific South Karnataka culture that is being presented on screen. And I was just saying this to another friend of mine, that when I've watched this and I've watched like Ponniyin Selvan back to back, and the Hinduism that you see in these movies are very different from the kind of Hinduism that the Hindu right wing has been trying to portray in mainstream discourse over the past few years. And it's very interesting to me to like watch it unfold. And this is really not even like, you know, like Hindu culture. It's Adivasi culture is basically what they are showing. You know, these are people who live off the land. Their deity is basically a forest goddess. and they go hunting in the forest, they drink. They're not like, this is not like a Ram Rajya kind of Hinduism. And it is interesting to watch that. And some people have also pointed out that the politics of this movie are also troublesome in that it doesn't really have a lot to say explicitly about the oppressor and the suppressed dynamics. They show the landlord, and they show that the landlord, has all these like casteist ideas about the people that he's lording over. But it doesn't really do a good job calling them out. Like, it more presents him as sinning against the deity rather than the people who live on the land. It's sort of presented as like the landlord locked in a struggle against the supreme being, rather than the landlord being locked in a struggle with the people that live off the land and tend to it. So that is obviously like an issue. But I think on the whole, like the way, like from a masala standpoint, like if you watch this film on the big screen especially, Rishabh Shetty does like a really great job. So Rishabh Shetty wrote this, directed this, and acted in it. And he did like a really good job, in my opinion. Like right from the beginning, like the way he establishes his character. And again, like this is like a very like village set sort of story, which isn't always my speed. But this is not like one of those Ayushmann Khurrana villages. This is very much, here's a tiny little village on the edge of the forest. And this is how, all these issues that crop up. But there's like a very good masala film in it. And he's done like a really good job of, weaving in the supernatural and the masala elements and the fighting and everything. It's like a more action-packed Tumbad, basically.
Oh wow! Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, Joy, have you heard of this?
Is Rishabh? Yes, I have heard of this movie, and it's not playing at any of the Cineworlds anymore. I checked. The nearest one is in Basingstoke, in an Odeon in Basingstoke is where it is playing, and that too like an 8 p.m. show. And I don't drive, so I have no option than to wait for it to come to streaming. I really want to watch this because everybody's been so gaga and positive about it, but I have been deliberately keeping my eyes and ears closed. I don't want to watch any trailers or read much about it, and I just want to go in blind because there's been some sort of a positive vibe around this movie. I just wanted to ask, Amrita, is Rishabh Shetty, right?
Yeah.
Is he related to Rakshit Shetty, who also is a Kannada star? He made like Ulidavaru Kandante a long time back. Do you know?
I actually don't know.
Yeah, no, I also didn't see this movie appear anywhere in our theaters, but I'm looking forward to catching it on streaming. It really reminded me more of Jallikattu and Khandaan, those vibes,
Yes.
And I think I have seen a previous movie of Rishabh Shetty when he was a cop. That he also directed and made. I can't pronounce the name of it, which was fascinating, but it was too long, so I quit somewhere like at the 70% mark of the movie. But what I saw, I really enjoyed, but it was just too long. But yeah, a lot of good buzz around it.
Oh, was it Ulidavaru Kandante? That's a different Shetty. That's Rakshit Shetty.
No. It was this Shetty. It was kind of like a very bonkers Dabang kind of movie that he made. It was. It was quite interesting. Yeah, I think it's on Prime even, so you can watch it if you want. But yeah, this looks fascinating. I'm excited to watch this if this ever lands on streaming. But you were saying it's more masala. There's like songs and stuff in it.
There's songs, there's like action pieces. I don't want to give away too much. I'm just going to say that, it's like very unexpected, like when it happens.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
So when you said like landlords and stuff, I thought like it has Lagan vibes to it.
In a way, yes, because it is that sort of thing, like there is a king. So it starts with a flashback and you kind of see how this land evolved and the people evolved in it, and the history of these people before you actually go into the action. And it is action. Like the climax is like hyper violent.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm excited for this. I think it's getting a lot of good buzz. So hopefully it lands on streaming and I can watch it. But yeah. Let's move on. I just watched one thing because I've been rewatching things and catching up on old things. And I've also noticed the way I usually watch things, I watch 7 things in one go. I watch 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there, and I just switch back and forth. And I've been trying not to do that. So my list of things I'm watching has like shrunk down. And I had to I rewatched Lal Singh Chadda, which is still lovely. It's finally on Netflix UK. And my daughter loves this. She already watched it 2 times. And it's literally dropped 2 days ago. And then I also rewatched Maula Jat, which was also fun. But I got a chance to watch Hasan Minhaj's new stand-up show, The King's Jester, I think it's called. Amrita, what do you feel about Hasan Minhaj?
It's complicated. Like sometimes, like he's not funny, haha, right?
Yeah.
He's more like a chuckle, oh hey, I recognize that kind of laugh. The one thing that he does that really annoys the shit out of me though is that whenever he goes on a talk show, for example, it's like he can't tell the difference between telling an anecdote and doing a bit. So he's just constantly doing bits and like recycling that into his specials. So I'm just like, like whether he's on Seth or whether he's on The Daily Show, like it's like he can't have a conversation with somebody. He needs to always like build up to that punchline. And then you realize that this is actually a part of his standard set. So I don't know, like I don't enjoy watching him outside of his comedy specials because he just annoys me in that way.
What about you, Sujoy?
What annoys me about Hasan Minhaj is that his beard reminds me of Lily Singh doing a male character.
Oh, you guys are harsh. Yeah.
It looks like it's been tattooed on his face, man.
It's too perfect. You're jealous.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, I love Hasan Minhaj. I really like him, even though I agree with both of the points you're making. His beard is too perfect, and he is way too animated when he's talking. Because like even on like Reels and TikTok, that style of making a point is like all Asian kids in America talk the same way, right? With that hand gestures and stuff like that Hasan Minhaj does. And it's really annoying when I see it on other people because maybe I'm just used to Hasan doing it for a while. I really liked his previous one too, Homecoming King, I think it was called.
Yes, that was very unexpected.
Yeah. And I really like The King's Jester. It's maybe not as good, but as Homecoming King, but it has. I think I just connect with it more because he's speaking from. He's kind of in a later life stage. He's talking about his family, how he, became a father, how his stance on his show affected his family. So you've not seen it, Amrita, right?
No, but I will.
Yeah, so I'll not spoil it, but it does talk about how directly it affected his family and put his family in danger doing the show that he did for Netflix, Patriot Act. And also, like, it's funny, Amrita, you're saying that everything is built up towards the punchline because that's very much what's happening in the show too. But I don't feel you see it coming necessarily, the big kind of swings he goes for. And I thought it was really hilarious. It was heartfelt. And I think his thing is he's not necessarily a stand-up comedian like you would have, like Mark Maron or Patrice O'Neill or Dave Chappelle. It's not that, although Dave maybe, because it is closer to storytelling, which has emotions and laughs in it, except not like Bill Burr where every 30 seconds is a laugh. So it is a very different kind of vibe that he goes for. And it just works for me because maybe I'm just more of a sentimental guy. I really liked it. And I think he does a great job. I think he's just like there's nobody like him, I feel. Like if you compare it to contemporaries, like there's nobody that good, that on top of his game. Like what's the closest you could get? Maybe Aziz Ansari or Veer Das, maybe, but like when I mentioned those names, he's so far ahead of all of them, right?
Yeah. Even there is a bit where he actually puts down Aziz and Kumail. That was hilarious in this.
Yeah.
I won't.
He does an impression. He doesn't put them down.
Says,
he makes an impression, which is really accurate. Really accurate.
He also does a bit about Priyanka Chopra, and he lies down on the floor to say it. I won't reveal the joke, but it's. I went off on that bit. I had to pause the TV and laugh for a minute just to appreciate it.
Yeah, that I appreciate it, but that's probably the most vicious joke from the whole show, I feel. But it is funny. Yeah. Yeah.
I did see the thing about like him and Malala having like a cute little banter on Instagram, and then Priyanka Chopra slid in absolutely unwanted and like was just like, well, I see it's petty season or something like that about Hassan, and like it was very clear that Malala and Hassan were like having a joke, and then Priyanka was not having a joke.
Yeah, Priyanka's probably, if she reacted to it, is probably her PR team making her react to it, because I don't he made a joke about her and she's probably like, oh, I can laugh about it, but that joke is not something she can laugh about, knowing Priyanka. So it's going to be awkward at the Asian get together in Hollywood next time when Priyanka because it's such a small world, right? There's only like 7-8 people, right? So I imagine they all probably are in similar circles, no?
Yeah,
because there's Aziz, there's Kumail, Hassan, Mindy, that's it, right?
And Lily Singh.
Yeah, that's it. 6-7 people. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so that's it. King's Jester, it's streaming on Netflix. I really enjoyed it, and if you're like a sentimental fool like me, I think you might enjoy it too. Sujay, you did talk about it. I don't know if you guys watch Rami. Do you guys watch Rami?
I saw the first season and then that was it.
Okay, Sujay?
I watched bits of season 1. I haven't gone to watch the rest of it or season 2. How many seasons are there?
This is the third one.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you guys like it, the first few seasons, or not?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really well made, and it's beautiful to watch as well. And the stories are obviously like really heartfelt, and it's something that I can relate to and cannot as well at the same time. So it's a fun bit.
Yeah. What about you, Amrita? Did you like season 1 of Rami? Yeah. I love Rami. I also like the other show he made on Netflix, Mo, which I also really liked. But Rami, I can relate hardcore to Rami, especially in the season 1 where he's struggling a little more with his faith. I also don't know any shows where it starts like a comedy and it ends up being like a proper piece of art. And I think Rami season 3 is as close to art you can get. You're talking about how beautiful it is to look at. It definitely is again. And this season, Rami is almost taking a backseat. He did that a bit in season 2, where he's not the main character of every episode. This happens again in season 3, even more. And those stories are so interesting. His uncle, who's, he's in the closet, but he's struggling with his sexuality. His sister, who has the burden of, cultural patriarchy and the expectations around him. his parents, their status as an immigrants, and how they've kind of come in the twilight of their lives and led that immigrant life, and kind of what it's left them. And then Rami being, Rami struggling with his faith, struggling with his issues, and all of the bullshit that he created in season 2, which haunts him, but he cannot get out of that cycle. And it has some amazing reveals in season 3. And it's really sad. Like, I get really bummed out and sad, and a lot of times I'm just like cringing, like, Rami, please don't do what you're about to do. And he constantly makes the worst decisions possible. But he's just such a likable character that you want things to, work out well for him. I think Rami is amazing. It's literally one of the best things on TV at the moment. And it's also one of those things that doesn't get enough hype. I think one of the problems is probably because it's on Hulu and not enough people have access to it. But he also does a terrible job of promoting his work. I've heard him on a few podcasts, and again, he's truly a hilarious kind of guy, and he seems also just a nice guy with a good heart and very thoughtful. And I just want good things to happen for Rami, the real life Rami, and the Rami on screen, which unfortunately is not happening in season 3. But the last shot of Rami is him praying, and it's beautiful and sad at the same time. It's really kind of like hit me in the gut. I would really recommend people watch Rami if you did like the first 2 seasons. And the problem is you do need to watch the other seasons to get the full impact of season 3. And I understand that might turn people off. Watch it when there's so much content, and this might be one of those things that slips under the radar, unfortunately, but it's really, really good. So I'm a big fan of Rami season 3, which is on Hulu at the moment. Shall we read a few messages?
Yes. But before we go any further, I just wanted to give a shout out to all the lovely people who have subscribed to our Patreon. Our Patreon allows us to remain independent, to stay ad-free, and to bring to you all the new types of content that we have been planning for ages. And none of that would be possible without the lovely, lovely, lovely Patreons that we have. A huge thank you to all of you. And here is Sujoy, who would like to just read out some names.
Thank you to all our Patreons at patreon.com/Khandaan podcast. Grandmaster 2 Sweet, Hanisha, Lisa, Beena, Mayuri, Enam, Shireen, Mayuri, NJ, Danielle, Kari, Nina, Uttara, Meher, The Turtle Pirate, Nush, Shreya, Aryu, Angelique, Rachna, Tanvi, Viral, Dalia, Sachin, Heather, Rita, Netflix, Manvir, Swaroop, Sushant, Polylista, Sunita, Amrat, Beth, Sona, Amrita, Neha, Samyukta, Shehzad, NK, Usama, Jasmine, Nandini, Sunita, Pamela, Ruhi, Rihani, Farzana, G, Deepta, Mofi, Karen, Devansh, Javeria, Supriya, Usha, Laina, Preetams, Nika, Shramana, Abdullah, Shakila, Jackie, Navsharan, Irfan, Chitra, Geetika, Manish, Shah, Dramapanda, Rebecca, Isa, and Deepti.
So we got a ton of messages. We've got emails. We've got Patreon messages too. If you do want to be a patron, sign up from $1 and get access to lots of free stuff. And just also cool, to be part of a community. I love getting thoughts and just getting kind words on the podcast and our guests and our topics. So that's always cool. Let's go into it a little bit. So this is the first message we got from. This was on Instagram from Tarun. So Tarun said, Hi Asim, I heard you saw Egg Villain Returns. Just wanted to let you know if you need a brain transplant, please contact me. I think I might need a brain transplant. It doesn't have to do anything with big film returns. I think just generally this might be good for me. When you were explaining the story, I was laughing so much that I almost had an asthma attack. I can't believe this was actually made and humans saw it for entertainment. It is torture device. Yes, the things I go through for my audience, right? Also, John Abraham, I still watch his movies. I don't know why I do it. Did you guys end up watching Big Villain Returns or not really?
No.
You gotta be kidding us. You think like we'll go watch Big Villain Returns?
I was like, my storytelling is so potent that you say like, I have to watch this crap, No, so that didn't happen. Okay. Thank you for writing in, Tarun. Another message we got on Insta was from Rajat. I really want Asim Bhai to watch another Rishida movie. Can you make that happen? Amrita, Sujoy, can you make that happen, you think?
Well, it depends on your pain point.
Which one should I watch? Which one should I watch? That's the question, right? If I watch one.
I think you might really relate to Millie.
Millie?
Yeah.
Is that where... who's in Millie?
Jaya Badri and Amitabh Bachchan.
Okay, and Jaya Bhadri gets stuck in a fridge? Is that what happens? Okay.
What?
You guys clearly have not been on the internet. There's a new movie with Janhvi Kapoor called Millie coming out on Netflix. She's stuck in a fridge. So you guys did. So again, my joke fall flats as it usually does. Okay, so Millie, that's the one I should watch.
Yes.
Have you watched the original Khoobsurat?
I have not.
I think that should be a good
I have not.
one.
Should I? Is that a good?
Yeah.
Who's in that?
Rakesh Roshan and Rekha.
Right. No, I might have seen. Isn't that where her ponytail is like crooked? It goes in the air.
No. You're thinking of Soundarya.
Oh, okay. She has blackface makeup. Is not that?
Yes, yeah, that's not Rekha.
Ah, okay.
And that is definitely not Khoobsurat.
Oh, okay. So let guys. Okay, people that want me to watch a Rishida movie, let me know which should I watch, Khoobsurat or Millie. Let's go about it that way. Okay. Okay. Another message from Farzan on Instagram. He says, you guys should do an episode on pre-Falguni days pop, like Alicia, Anaida, Shweta. I don't even know these names. It would be interesting conversation because Pakistan also had pop music with Vital Signs, that I know, and Nazia Hassan. Comparing the two cultures would be interesting. So I think this might be more of a thing for you. What do you think about that idea for an episode?
I think this could be a Patreon exclusive. Sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/Khandaan podcast.
क्या plug मारा है सुजोय ने? क्या plug मारा है? Yeah, but thoughts about that era of music, Amrita? I mean, this is the era we kind of grew up with, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, kids today don't know like what it was like to actually have like good music.
Yeah.
But I agree with Sujoy, like it should be a Patreon special.
Sujoy, which artist would you put on the Patreon exclusive, you think? If we do
Alicia Chinay, Baba Saigal, Bali Brahmabhat, and Euphoria.
Oh, you're going early 90s, really.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Who's Anaida? Who's Shweta?
Anaida used to be another pop star, and Shweta is Shweta Shetty, I believe, who also sang Rukmani from Roja, and another really great song called Dil Tote Tote Ho Gaya from the Bichu movie.
Okay. That sounds like a Mola Jat dialogue, to be honest. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, what's our Instagram handle again, Sujoy? Where can people write in?
At Khandaan Podcast.
Okay.
At Khandaan Podcast. It's so simple.
Easy to find. Sujoy, you want to read Abdullah's email?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Asim, Amrita, Sujoy, hope you guys are doing well. Missed listening to the Khandaan podcast regularly off late, as I have been in India with family for the past few months and working remotely from here according to US time zones. Well, similar to how a lot of people are now catching up with the movie after it dropped on Netflix a couple of days ago, I caught up on your Lal Singh Chaddha episode on Khandaan today after its OTT release. Was surprising to hear so much praise about the movie unanimously by all three of you, especially since Amrita and Sujoy didn't like the promos at all. I think this podcast was done just after the release where its box office performance wasn't so clear. Now that we kind of know that it didn't do well according to a majority of the right-wing trade pundits, and Aamir has gone into oblivion ever since, which is a major indication for its failure, I'd love to know your take on Lal Singh Chaddha and where it stands now. Not as a movie, because obviously you guys loved it, but more so on its box office performance and a cultural phenomena that some might expect from a Khan movie, especially an Aamir Khan movie, which has been in the making for a decade. What do you guys think is the reason why it didn't work at the Indian box office? I'm ignoring the boycott episode as I think it was silly and wasn't a reason for its failure at all. Brahmastra recently proved that point. Would really appreciate your guys' response to it, or probably a quick bite in one of the future episodes. Also, I think it still hasn't been released in China as of October 2022. Do you guys think it'll attain a cult following like how some of Aamir movies did in the past, like Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar or Andaz Apna Apna? Similar case where the box office performance was dismal and years later had got its due. Anyway, take care. A loyal fan of this podcast and always fun listening to you guys on it. Best wishes, Abdullah.
Thank you, Abdullah. Always a thoughtful email that you write to us. I think, Amrita, you and me were making a grand stand about the box office, right? That it's not going to lose money. China still has to come. And because it's an Aamir movie, he probably still made money out of it. But what do you think of that stance now?
No, I think it's absolutely on the money still. Like, I don't think when you say that it's a failure, it's probably a smaller failure. I mean, it's not as successful as Aamir thought it would be. And Aamir does have egg on his face, and he should, because it was a weird concept to go all in for, you know? Yeah. But then if you, like, right after Abdullah sent us this thing is like when it came on Netflix, and literally all of Twitter was like, "Arey, ye to achhi movie hai. Like, I really liked it, yeah. Like, why didn't I see it? Like, why didn't people watch it?" And, you know, it's like that kind of nonsense, basically. So yeah, I don't think like I have any, I don't think I'm changing my opinion. And I do think that once the Chinese get to see it, it is going to be a hit.
Because I'm pretty sure that like Forrest Gump isn't like held in super high regards in China, or is like this movie that, you know, like it probably released before China opened up. So this might be the first time they hear or, you know, watch this story. I think we did record it. It's one of those episodes we did the weekend after, you know, immediately when we watched the movie, and we talk about it the day after pretty much. So we didn't have any box office figures, so we were going out of our gut. I do agree with Abdullah that it's probably not what they were hoping for. And I think we're just used to Aamir doing, you know, 400 crores, 500 crores at the cinema, the Three Idiot numbers and all that kind of thing. And I just don't see that necessarily happening again for any of the Khans, you know, unless it's like a Tiger Zinda Hai or a Dawn 3, you know, that kind of thing. And even then I worry about Dawn 3. You know, like, I think we're maybe repeating ourselves, but those days are maybe not there anymore for cinema and Bollywood cinema at the moment. I think... South Indian cinema is doing really, really well. Like, you know, even if you look at the numbers of Kantara and stuff like that, Vikram Vedha didn't do that well. Is Vikram Vedha a bigger flop, or is Lal Singh Chaddha a bigger flop? I don't know. It's a tough time, and it's interesting because I don't feel like Hrithik Roshan has to have egg on his face because Vikram Vedha didn't do well. I don't feel he has been dragged through the mud or anything like that, the way Aamir did, where, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's after Hrithik Roshan for delivering a dud, where Aamir, there's still a lot of negativity, like he has to be embarrassed for this movie. And I don't think there's any reason to be embarrassed about Lal Singh Chaddha, because like I said, I've watched it a few times again on streaming now that it's dropped, because my daughter loves it, and I've been listening to the soundtrack non-stop. It's literally the only soundtrack I'm listening to at the moment because the songs are so beautiful. I think I love the movie even more now. I think Kareena Kapoor is amazing in it. I'm appreciating much more Mona Singh in it. But yeah, and China still has to come. I still think it can do a lot in China. I don't know. What do you think, Sujoy?
So here's what I think is the difference between Brahmastra and Lal Singh Chaddha is that the promotions of Lal Singh Chaddha did not lead up to the movie. There was a sort of a gap of expectation, or what kind, sort of a, like we weren't really sold on the movie based on those promotions, right? And I think that sort of might have an effect on the box office performance of this movie. But again, like people's cinema going habits have changed, and maybe it's not enough if a movie is being praised for people to go back to the cinema and watch a movie. I'm not sure why this would have failed.
No, this is exactly what I was saying about the Bhediya trailer, where, it's when something is like, it looks like it might be mid or is just fine. Even I'm a huge, obviously, cinema fan, and I love going out to the theaters, etc. But you have to put my butt in that seat by piquing my interest. And if you are showing me something that I think is going to be mid, or it's just like an also ran, like it has like, it's not sparking any strong feelings for good or bad, then I'm not really interested in watching it in the theater.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand the box office anymore at this stage. Like, I don't know what works and what doesn't work. I would think like Vikram Vedha would be, why did Hrithik not get people in the seats, right? Like, and Aamir didn't either. So yeah, it's I think it's just tough times. Let's read the next message. I think this is a short one. This is a technical one. I think I'll read it quickly because this. Hello, Asim. This is from Akash. Aren't there a few names that you immediately think of the movie when you read them, like Akash or Rupa? Don't you guys have that? You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Akash writes, hello, the Three Musketeers. How are you guys? I've been watching the podcast since episode 3. Wow, that's a long time. And being honest with you, I think it's an amazing thing what each of you has to offer. Asim's dad jokes, Sujoy's impression, and Amrita's witty replies. Do upload more episodes on YouTube. I have been listening to the same for months. I use a desktop, so YouTube is much more easily accessible. In conclusion, aap great hai, aap mahan hai, aap dayalu hai, yahan tak aap purush hi nahi, mahapurush hai. Hope you got the Andaz Apna reference. Ciao and take care. Akash, if there's one place that gets Andaz Apna reference, it's this one. So thank you for that. Sujoy, so how many people have asked you about YouTube lately?
Only two.
Only two.
but it's 3. Okay. The amount of work that I have to do for a YouTube upload is, but I will get on uploading the previous episodes. But in the meanwhile, you can also access all our episodes on the Khandaan Podcast website. That's khandaanpodcast.com. As simple as that. So you go to khandaanpodcast.com and you have all the episodes, so you can access it as this on the same browser as you access your YouTube website, or even on the mobile. You can go to any podcasting platform. You can check it out on Spotify, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We are on everything. So yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, but I will definitely take your point. I will upload our older episodes on YouTube as well.
Yeah. Next one, I'm not gonna read this out, but like I want to explain it. That so Neha, one of our listeners, sent this to us. Hey, I re-listened to your Andaz Apna Apna episode the other day, and it was such a joy to relive that movie with you all. I felt like I had discussed it with friends, and made me so happy. This is amazing, yaar. This inspired me to pull together a quiz on the movie to challenge your knowledge and selfishly get you talking about the movie again. If you have ever a chance to play a quiz round in future episode, it would be super cool. I've gone through the questions and they are amazing. They are challenging and they are hard. I promise you, I have not read the answers of it. But I was thinking there's two ways to do this. Amrita, Sujoy, I want to get your thoughts. Either we do a Khandaan streaming Insta Live or YouTube Live, and we do Andaz Apna Apna quiz with our listeners, or the next meetup we do, and I'm hoping, Amrita, you would join us, that we then do it face to face. What do you guys think of those ideas?
Let's do online streaming thing. That way, like,
should we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's been a while, right? I think it's been a while, so I'm kind of excited to do this. So yeah, either YouTube Live or Insta Live, one of those two things. I'm not sure which was more popular last time. I get a lot of people talking about the YouTube Live. I don't know which one we should choose, to be honest. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's coming. We had a few messages on Patreon.
So as Asim was saying, we really love the community that we are building over on Patreon. We get all these messages from lovely people. We get to respond to them. And two of them sent in these messages that we would like to read out. The first one is from Lisa, who says, love, 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 all capitals, your podcast. The three of you are smart, entertaining, and very thoughtful in your discussions, no matter what the subject. Listening to you sitting next to a table of three good friends who are engaged in delightful conversation. Thank you. P.S. I kind of get why none of you were enthusiastic about 83. Even I cringed when the Prime Minister said, "We can do it." And political turmoil being forgotten was a bit simplistic, to say the least. Let's not even talk about Deepika's wig or Ranveer's teeth. But I thought it was a wonderful film. I was in Rome when Italy won the Football World Cup many years ago, and the country exploded with joy. That is what is conveyed in 83. All of the characters were wonderfully portrayed, great writing. I will watch it again and again, and I don't even understand cricket. Thanks for writing in, Lisa. Like, we love hearing messages from that. Not just because you were very nice to us and said like very kind things, but also because, look, when you have a group of people and we are discussing a film, we're not going to agree 100% with each other, right? And the magic of cinema is basically that you can see the same piece of art and have a very individual, subjective reaction to it. So it makes perfect sense to me that you would watch something and relate to it on an emotional level, even if you don't really understand the sport. Because let's face it, pretty much every sports movie that I watch, I have no idea what the heck is going on, but I'm watching the movie.
I've watched so many American football movies and I don't understand that game at all. Like, I don't understand how it works, but, you know, like, remember the Titans and all these kind of things, like Friday Night Lights. I'll watch those shows and really appreciate them. I have no clue what's going on. The League, that was another one. Did you ever guys watch The League? No?
No.
It's a hilarious comedy show about this fantasy football league, American fantasy football, I think. I don't understand anything about it, but the show is hilarious. So it's very much possible to watch these sports things without understanding the sports. I still have not seen 83 though. It's still not... maybe I should listen to Lisa if she really likes it. Maybe I'll appreciate it now that the conversation is over and I know what it's kind of been about. But there's other movies I want to watch. I really want to watch Jogi. on Netflix too. It's Adiya Zafar, right? I haven't seen that one either. So it's like my pile of things I want to watch is so big that this one always, lands to the bottom of it, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. Our next message is from Nika, who says, "Hi guys, today is my first day as an official patron, and I am really excited to see everything you guys have in store for us in 2022. Nika, wait until you see what we have in store for you in 2023. I just wanted to say a huge thank you for everything you have done over the last few years. Your podcast has been a lifeline during the pandemic in more ways than one. As an Indian living abroad with no way to go back, it helped me stay connected to the goings on back home. You're welcome. It also really helped us and our sanity to just sort of talk it through. So thank you for being a great audience. It has also helped me stay connected to my family. I recommended your pod to my mother, who I haven't been able to see in 3 years, and we now swap stories about episodes within my family. A Khandaan within a Khandaan, if you will. That is adorable. I also sent her a book that was recommended on this pod called Ye Un Dino Ki Baat Hai for her 60th birthday, and she loved it. So thank you once again for the stories and laughs, and most importantly, a source of connection during a difficult time. Love you guys. Love you too, Nika. And it's so interesting that you mentioned Ye Un Dino Ki Baat Hai, because I have seen more than one Twitter thread over the past year or so where everybody's like, oh my God, like this is such interesting information about classic Bollywood. Why didn't we know this before? And then at the end of it, it'll be like, oh, this is actually from this book called Ye Un Dino Ki Baat Hai. I'm just like, you. So yeah, if you guys haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. It is basically pieces taken from the Urdu Bollywood press that have been translated into English. And because classic Bollywood was full of Urdu speakers, and contrary to what a lot of right-wing people will tell you right now, in pre-partition India, language didn't have a religion. So there were like Urdu speakers who were, Hindu, and there were Hindi speakers who were Muslim. And so you had like a number of actors, writers, directors in classic Hindi cinema whose first language was Urdu, and they wrote and read in it as well. And they would contribute first-person pieces because it was like a different time. So they would write these little memoirs and things for various Urdu press. And it is fascinating to read these people's stories in the first person. So I highly recommend it.
And when we had our London Khandaan meetup, people also mentioned specifically about the pandemic, and how they got through it with us. I don't know if you guys have ever re-listened to those episodes again, but man, we went through a lot those days. It's a wild ride. Like, it's like just a time capsule of an era that will never happen again. And we went through it together, all three of us, and it's a trip, man, listening to those ones. And I'm just so glad that it resonated with people, because literally we had no content, right? We couldn't go out. There were no movies to watch, and we were just like, how do we continue the show? But we also wanted to kind of check in with each other because we were all going crazy. I'm really happy that it meant a lot of people to Nika, but also to people on the meetup were specifically mentioning it to us, that how much it meant to them that we kept podcasting and we kept recording. So yeah, thank you for that message, Nika. And also, I just want to say thank you for all the new people that have found us. Like we have a ton more listeners than we did, and I just want to say hi and welcome to Khandaan. It's really cool that you found us. Let us know how you found us. I'm always interested in hearing those stories. Drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. Yeah, I just want to say this to people. We had massive issues with our recording this episode, so it might be a bit different than our usual vibe is, but we'll get back to it. I think, Amrita, you're not going to be joining us again next week, right?
Yes, so I'm traveling next week on some personal errands, but I will be back as usual after that.
And we have a really fun guest lined up. I'm not going to announce it now because, anything can happen, but we've got your back, Amrita. We're going to bring the entertainment. Sujoy, where can people find you online?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at 93K, and Asim might have forgotten, but the Khandaan podcast is on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Khandaan Podcast.
I had definitely forgotten. Amrita, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Amrita IQ on Twitter.
I'm on Asim Bernie. Drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. Leave us a review on Apple. We haven't actually had a review. So all of those new listeners that have found us, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. I'd love to hear what you think of the show. And thanks for listening. We'll be back again very soon.
Khandaan podcast, bollywood acting. Girl, you're my